Level 1, $30,000 a year. You just got your first real paycheck. It feels bigger than anything you've ever seen. You upgrade your phone immediately. You finance a car you probably shouldn't. You buy clothes with visible logos. You post dinners. You post vacations. You post the steering wheel shot. Because at $30,000, visibility is currency. You're not flexing for strangers. You're flexing for your old self. You're proving you're no longer stuck. At this level, wealth is external. If people can't see it, it doesn't count. Level 2, $60,000 a year. Now you're stable. Rent is manageable. Bills are paid on time. You can breathe. The flex gets sharper. Now it's not just survival proof, it's comparison proof. You notice what your coworkers drive. You notice watches, shoes, apartments. You don't just want comfort, you want confirmation. Confirmation that you're ahead. At $60,000, status becomes a scoreboard, and scoreboards must be visible. Level 3, $100,000 a year. The six-figure milestone. You announce it subtly, or not so subtly. A new apartment in a better neighborhood, a nicer car, premium flights, higher-end restaurants. At this level, the flex evolves. It's not loud, it's curated. You want people to assume success without you saying it. The watch becomes cleaner. The branding becomes quieter. The lifestyle becomes effortless. You're no longer trying to prove survival. You're proving arrival. Level 4, $250,000 a year. Now things change. Your income is no longer common. Your peers shrink. Your spending becomes strategic. You still flex, but it's selective. Private school, luxury gym, exclusive memberships. You don't post everything anymore, because now visibility invites risk. At $250,000, you begin to understand something. The louder you look, the more you attract. And not all attention is positive. You start valuing privacy, not because you're humble, because you're calculating. Level 5, $500,000 a year. $500,000. You can afford almost anything most people consider luxury. But here's the shift. You've seen enough wealthy people to know what real wealth looks like. And it doesn't look like logos. The billionaire you met wore a plain sweater. The most powerful person in the room drove an unremarkable car. The loudest spender was usually the least liquid. You start observing patterns. The richest people don't advertise. They move quietly. And you begin copying that. Not because you're hiding, because you're learning. Level 6, $1 million a year. Now you're not just earning, you're allocating. Your wealth starts compounding faster than you can spend it. You realize something uncomfortable. Flexing is expensive, not financially, socially. Every visible signal creates expectations. Expectations create pressure. Pressure reduces freedom. At $1 million plus, freedom is the real flex. You stop chasing visible validation. You start protecting optionality. The car becomes discreet. The house becomes gated. The watch becomes custom but unbranded. If you know, you know. If you don't, it's not for you. Now let's switch from income to net worth. Because income can be loud, net worth becomes silent. Level 7, $5 million net worth. You no longer need attention. You need insulation. Your money works. You don't. Flexing at this level signals insecurity. Because real power is structural. You invest in assets, equity, private deals. Nobody sees your brokerage account. Nobody sees your ownership stakes. And that's the point. At $5 million, stealth becomes strategy. You understand taxes. You understand lawsuits. You understand visibility risk. The more people know you have, the more they calculate around you. You choose invisibility. Why does this shift happen? Because early money is identity. Late money is leverage. At $30,000, you flex to build identity. At $5 million, you protect leverage. Identity wants applause. Leverage wants silence. Here's what most people misunderstand. Flexing is often a phase of insecurity. You flex when you're unsure of your position. You go stealth when you're certain of it. The person who posts the watch every week is still proving something. The person who never posts is positioning something. Different motives, different tiers. Let's break the psychological ladder. At lower incomes, your world is small. Peers are visible. Comparison is immediate. Status is horizontal. So you signal sideways. You show friends, coworkers, neighbors. But as wealth increases, your comparison group changes. Now you compare vertically, not to coworkers, to institutions, to capital, to time. And institutions don't care about your car. They care about your balance sheet. There's another layer. Risk. At $30,000, you have nothing to lose socially. At $500,000, visibility can cost you. Employees expect generosity. Family expects assistance. Strangers expect opportunity. Flexing increases requests. Requests reduce boundaries. Stealth preserves boundaries, and boundaries preserve wealth. You also begin to understand signaling theory. Visible luxury signals income. Invisible wealth signals power. Income is temporary. Power is structural. The wealthy stop signaling income. They start signaling access. Access to rooms, access to deals, access to information. Those signals are quiet. They don't trend on social media, but they compound. Look at patterns. New money is loud. Old money is quiet. New money buys brands. Old money buys land. New money buys cars. Old money buys companies. New money flexes consumption. Old money flexes control. But this isn't about morality. It's about evolution. Most people go through the flex stage. It's part of growth. When you've never had money, you want to see it. You want to feel it. You want to confirm it's real. The logo is reassurance. The car is reassurance. The house is reassurance. Because you're still afraid it can disappear. Once wealth stabilizes, reassurance becomes unnecessary. And unnecessary displays become inefficient. There's also time preference. At $30,000, the future feels uncertain. You maximize present validation. At $5 million, the future is protected. You maximize long-term positioning. Flexing is short-term dopamine. Stealth is long-term leverage. Different time horizons, different behaviors. Now observe social media. Who flexes the most? Usually people in the middle. Not broke, not ultra-wealthy. Comfortably climbing. Because the middle tier feels unstable. They've tasted success. They haven't secured it. So they amplify it. The top tier doesn't need amplification. Their security is internal and structural. The real reason the rich stop flexing? Because flexing invites competition. If you show your wealth loudly, others compete. Competitors reduce margins. Quiet operators maintain advantage. The richest people don't want applause. They want asymmetry. Information asymmetry. Opportunity asymmetry. Power asymmetry. Noise disrupts asymmetry. Silence preserves it. Here's the final transition. At $30,000, wealth is visible. At $100,000, wealth is curated. At $500,000, wealth is selective. At $1 million plus, wealth is discreet. At $5 million plus, wealth is invisible. And at $50 million, wealth is infrastructure. You don't see it at all. You feel its influence. This doesn't mean rich people don't enjoy things. They do. But enjoyment becomes private. Experiences over broadcasts, spaces over stages, ownership over optics. The flex becomes internal, not external. If you're early in the journey, you'll probably flex. That's normal. You want acknowledgement. You want proof. You want recognition. But understand this. The goal isn't louder visibility. It's quieter control. Because the highest level of wealth isn't about being seen. It's about being insulated. The paradox. The poorer you are, the more you signal wealth. The wealthier you become, the less you need to signal anything. Because real status doesn't shout. It doesn't need to. It negotiates quietly. It invests quietly. It moves quietly. And it wins quietly. Right now, someone earning $30,000 is posting their first upgraded car. They feel powerful. And that feeling matters. Right now, someone worth $5 million is wearing a plain t-shirt in a private meeting structuring a deal that will double their net worth. No one posts that. No one sees it. But that's the real flex. The rich stop flexing when they realize applause doesn't compound. Assets do. Attention doesn't scale. Ownership does. Visibility doesn't protect. Structure does. So the evolution looks like this. You start by proving. You move to signaling. You graduate to selecting. You end by protecting. Flex to stealth. Noise to leverage. Applause to autonomy. The rich don't stop flexing because they're humble. They stop because they understand power. And power prefers silence.